So now with this ensemble, I just put together something that's really not cohesive in any way. I've got these taiko drums, djembe, hi-hats, kalimba. What is this? I've got these 3 tracks I haven't done anything with yet. We'll just leave those. And then I kept the suspended cymbals. Everything here is in Expand 2. I changed something to tremolo suitcase electric piano, harp, piano. And then I've got down here, instead of strings, I've got a brass pad, a square wave, a double bass, spiccato strings, and an oud pad. I'm going to start writing, and my concept with this one is I want to have this be driven by an ostinato, basically. I need to figure out which instruments I want to do that with. Maybe I'll start off with the suitcase. So let's see. All right. And I'm not gonna play this stuff in over and over again. I'm just gonna do a light quantizing, 81% strength, not anywhere near hard quantizing. Okay, so let me try something here. Okay, so that I'm not going to bother with. That's one thing, and let's get some bass in there. I don't know what I'm going to play. Let me just play with this groove. No, hold on. Okay, that I am going to clean up a little bit. Just see something here. Okay, so I'm going to do something here, right? Okay, so I teach this a different way. All right, but for right now, I want to do something where I'm going to use an effect to help me out. So I'm going to put mod delay 3, which is a basic delay that's in every version of Pro Tools, free or not. And I'm going to create a rhythm here, a double rhythm. So I'm going to do, and I'm going to bring the wet dry mix down. Let me explain what a delay, the different parts of an echo or a delay. And this is a stereo delay plugin, which means it has a left side and a right side. So this is the left delay, and this is the right delay. And I've got 2 different times. I've got a dotted quarter note in the left, and I've got a quarter note in the right. I may tweak that. We'll see. I've got sync turned on, so it's going to synchronize to my tempo of my sequencer. So this is the amount of time. At this tempo, a dotted 8th note is 750 millisecond delay, and a quarter note is 1 second delay. I don't know if I might want something a little bit different than that. We'll see. Feedback is the number of repeats. So if I bring this up, right? If I bring this way up, you'll hear a lot more repeats. All right, so I want to, that's too much. I'm just going to bring this up to about there, and the same with this one. And then the low pass filter just cuts off some of the high frequencies so that the repeated sound doesn't sound the exact same as the sound that you're playing in. So let me see. Let me play something in. So let me do this actually first. Let me bypass this and let me play something in and then turn the delay on. If the delay is enabled, it's going to mess my playing up. All right, cool. And now let's add the delay back into that. I'm going to change that. Let's try this. Ah. Okay, so what did I do there? Because this is so slow, tempo-wise, I've got a dotted 8th note and a dotted 16th note as my repeat values. And I want to make that darker, so I'm going to make the low pass filter here. And I actually might put a filter after it, right? So this is a totally different way of working than last week. And, you know, I'm just showing you the possibilities. So I'm going to add a low pass filter. I want to get rid of some of those high frequencies. Gives me more of the train, right? And the other thing I can do is I can take that sound and I can add something to grunge up the sound, right? So let's see. Let's do just Avid plugins. I won't use any of my fancy stuff. Oh, I could use air distortion. I can use this. This comes with the Pro Tools. And I'll bring the mix down a little bit. These are very dry, so this has a built-in reverb. I could send it to the reverb send that I've got set up. Let me just show you. You could send some of this to the hall, make the hall bigger. Let's see what happens with this delay. Do the delay inside the... Oh, yeah. Interesting. And then I can bring this filter down in here so it's not as bright. Sounds kind of lo-fi. I think I'm going to do that, and I'll bring the volume of everything down. All right. Let's see what we got. I need to turn the click track off while I'm listening because it's bothering me. Save. Yeah, I'm going to bring the volume of that down so it's not so loud. Something like that. And then I'll orchestrate that. Okay, one more time. Yeah. Come on, man. Okay, we'll get right to there. I'm going to play around with later on, but part of that is good. Okay, so I'm going to add that there. Okay, we'll clean up the end of that, right? But I liked some of that, but it's a little too loud. So I don't want to bring the volume down, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the MIDI velocity of these down so that it's a softer sound, right? And I'm deliberately anticipating the beat here. A little push. Bam. So I'm going to do something like that with those marimbas. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I like what I did with the marimba there, and I'm going to fix the harp so that it's more copacetic, and I'm going to get rid of that last chord on the electric piano because it's horrible. So you see, this is a completely different approach to last week, right? Yeah. Da. Right? Da-ga-do-da, 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 da. So. Whoops, let's not make a mistake. One more time, let me take a look at that. Ah, okay. Dee-ga-doo-da-dum. I went one too many. Boom. You know, I've been playing the piano since I was 5 years old, right? And I was one of the busiest freelance keyboard players in New York City for decades. I have keyboard skills, which help my writing, but they can also hinder my writing. But my practice routine every day, I practice the piano to be able to compose, right? So what does that mean? I spend time every day learning new harmonic vocabulary. I spend time every day drilling melodic ideas into my hands in all 12 keys, different scales, and all this stuff. I spend quite a bit of my practice time doing that. I also, I do play some classical piano for 40 minutes, and I work on tunes for a little bit of time. But if I'm playing the piano for a couple of hours a day, part of that time is spent getting vocabulary into my hands and internalizing it so that I don't have to think what it is that I'm playing, right? I don't expect you guys to be able to do that, which sometimes makes me wonder, like doing these demonstrations, how helpful is that? Because everybody has a different way of writing. But if I do my thinking process, and how I'm going about, putting this together, I think that might be helpful. Okay, so I think I'm going to get rid of this. So let's see what we've got here. Yeah, let's quantize that. All right, let's go back here. I'm going to have to change some of those. Okay, so I'm not crazy about the attack on the marimba sound. It's too, so, right, as I'm writing, I'm producing and I'm orchestrating and I'm listening to how these instruments sound. And there's something about the attack of the marimba down there I don't like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with the controls and see if I can get rid of some of that. Yeah, so you see right here, it has start time. So if I move this over here, the sample will start later and I'll get rid of some of that attack. So listen. Right? So I may have to turn the volume of that up a little bit. So that won't stick out as much now. Right, see how that sounds? That's much better sound. And let's add a little bit with the suitcase piano. I got to get rid of that sustain pedal. All right. And I got to see, let's see. So now, let's see, can I do something like that with the marimba? Okay, so let's make that a little softer. Bring the velocity down a little bit. So you see what I did there with the orchestration? I have created a composite sound, what I call, right? It's got 3 elements to it. And you want them to sound like it's one instrument. So it's the harp. And I'm gonna edit that harp so that the notes roll. It's the electric piano. And it's the suspended cymbal. Yeah, so let's do this. nice, right? Okay, so let's take a listen from the top. Oh, I got everything soloed. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so the hi-hats are too loud, so I'm going to bring the volume of them down, right? I'm mixing as I work. And the harp also is a little bit too spiky for my tastes. It's got the same thing. It's got the sample start time. So what this is, when it says what the start time does, if you play it like, a harp, you hit the string, pluck, and then the sustained note. What you're doing with moving the start time is when you press the key down, what part of that sample plays. So, in other words, the plucky attack doesn't play because you've moved the start time like a quarter of a second after the pluck, but it still happens when you press the key down. So much better. I think I might double that with the piano, and then I'll change the voicing on the piano. Right, so let's hear the piano and the harp together. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lasso these notes, and I'm going to drop them down an octave. Nope, don't like that. Don't like that. Oh, what if I did this? Right, so experimentation. So what I did was I didn't transpose the entire piano part up an octave, just the top voices. And that gives you a really beautiful composite sound, the harp and the piano. It's part of orchestration. Nice. And I could bring the volume of that down a little bit. And this could be softer. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is so I have to make a decision here, right? Bass on second part. What do you mean, Lucas?
I just mean that like you have a bass playing on that first half, and then when you get to this part, it just kind of cuts.
Yeah,
So
right. I might go back over that. I could turn the marimba up because that's what's playing the bass, right? So, and since I cut off the volume, since I cut off the start, it's not as loud. So let me bring that volume up here and see what that does here. So what I could do is I could take this, I could copy this, and I could merge paste this onto the Rhodes. Let's see if that works. Nope. I don't know if I want to have bass on that. That's the thing. So I've got these free instruments here. Let me see something. In other words, I haven't programmed anything into these 3 tracks. So let's see if I want to go to let's try this as a nylon guitar pick. Right, so what I'm going to have to do is stretch these out. And probably these 2. I mean, those as well. Right. So, you know, one of my things is I have this, there's an old James Brown, Fred Wesley song called Pass the Peas, right? And I like to have my orchestrations shifting constantly. The very last comedy cue I played that I wrote for you, that I wrote, everything is, the orchestrations are just constantly shifting, and that's just something that I really like. I don't have to play the bass all the way through. There's nothing that says I have to do that. I can have other instruments take up the bass function, and there could be spots where there is no bass. Bass doesn't always have to be there. There's spots where the bass could be like take your focus away from what you're trying to do. So I'm having different, like a composite sound now playing the bass. So this and this.